And we're live.
Now we're live. Hello and welcome to the Imagine Landscapes show and tell session
Monthly.
for March
How
2024
how are we in March?
witchcraft.
Yep. Yep. Really, really bizarre. Just doing the usual, waiting for it to show up on the YouTubes.
Okay, I've
Um,
got us, but it it did a weird thing where it actually like pulled it up for me. Usually it makes me wait. And also I noticed when we logged in, it said sending to a third party and not the host is going live. I don't know if you
really,
noticed
really
that.
bizarre. I didn't see that. I just
Yeah.
clicked the thing out of the way. So anyway,
Go away. I'm not
here we
reading.
are. Hi, Nora from Germany. Amazing.
Herzlich
So,
willkommen.
thank you for coming.
Herzlich willkommen is like you're very welcome.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Herzlich is like you're like heartily
Okay.
from the heart.
We overspoke each other, so I didn't quite hear what you had said. So
Yeah.
anyway, so yes, as Sarah said, this is our monthly show and tell to complement the every other week bi-weekly audio podcast that we put out, where we talk about more than we talk about here. We talk about imagine-knitting. We don't talk about imagine-knitting here. We talk about the sci-fi fantasy stuff that we are consuming, media of book or movie or whatever. And we also talk board games over there. But this is our chance to be here live, interact with folks, and also show you the things that we are talking about, and also our lovely faces. So hopefully you also have some tea, and crafting and are ready to go. Sarah, you're obviously working on something there, but what are you drinking?
I went with English breakfast. I need to do an order of flavored black tea. I'm like pretty much out. So my everything's very boring. It's English breakfast all the time from Twinings. Like it's just, but
Hmm.
this is my big German mug. It is so marvelously big. And what is unusual about this big mug is it is also thin and therefore lightweight. It doesn't
Ah,
hold the
yes.
heat as long as most pottery mugs or even my glass mugs, but this is a vat, a cauldron of magic.
I also have a cauldron. Mine is thicker, and so I'm getting a good workout right now with this. I am drinking brown sugar bourbon, a flavored tea from David's Tea. And this mug I purchased at the Manitoba Fiber Festival one year from, oh, Jennifer something starts with a C, I think. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother. This is really full. Um, yeah.
Thanks for
So,
popping into the chat and telling us where you're from. We absolutely adore that. Just so you know, that will never get old. You should
ever.
always in chat tell people where you're from. I like it's always interesting.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
I love seeing your names. I love seeing where you're from.
yeah.
So keep it up. There is a bit of a delay between what we do and when your stuff shows up over there. So if you ask us a question, it might take us a minute to get to, but please do ask questions, cheerlead, whatever. Sarah, you always have much more than I do on the go, almost
And
like we
I'm much
your
more.
job, and you have much more than usual this time.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you go first so I can
Okay.
also have more caffeine because I
What
have
I'm gonna
not
do,
caffeinated yet.
yeah, I'm going to start and I'm just gonna do all the Grimble Woods stuff. And then we will talk, like then I'll throw back to you. So the Grimble Woods Volume 2 that I originally released with Jimmy Beans is now back in my legal, I own it now. And so I'm releasing the patterns. And oh, if you're watching live today, Saturday, this is the last day to use the code party time to get the whole collection of 6 patterns for just $23 Canadian, which is an amazing deal because it
I,
would normally be $46 Canadian to get 6 patterns for me. Um,
Sorry for
and
the folks who aren't familiar with the Wayne's World movie. This is
yeah,
the party time. Excellent. Okay.
excellent. And I'm shooting some extra tutorials as I release these under my own name. And so I have been casting on bits and then going, I need to shoot a new tutorial and casting on bits. And I'm going to start with the one that is most done. We will start with Queen Dottie because she is so close to done. She is not only assembled, but I have 7 out of 6 legs done. All I have to do is sew 6 of these on.
Also, she's missing dots. Shouldn't she
Oh,
have
that's
dots?
true. Yes. But the dots are cut out of felt and fabric glued on afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not knitting. But yeah, she's pretty much done. And I thought for sure I'd done a good job of counting. But the thing is you work on these and then you stuff them in a tiny pocket inside your project bag. Like, the little pocket inside the project. This is where things like this go for gnomes and ladybugs. So I miscounted and I have an extra. So I will add it to the weird pile of anatomical
Stuff.
oddities that I accumulate. Like I've got, like multiple arms just hanging out. Why
Do you,
arms?
do you
Arms.
have do you have a label maker? And if not, can we get you one just so that you can create a drawer called Anatomical Oddities?
That would be wonderful.
Please. Okay.
Yeah. I got beards just hanging out. Just hanging out with me, beards. Noses are really common. And I don't like there's a certain segment that I know why they exist. But all the other ones I don't understand how I end up with extras. All right. So Queen Dottie, very nearly. Adorable. She just charms pants off me. One of the things that this collection from Jimmy Beans did is it really allowed me to problem solve because I went like usually I'm really guided by like don't be too gimmicky. I don't want to be like competing with the ones in the Hallmark or the dollar store. Like I really want to kind of keep true to a particular artistic vision of gnomes. I don't want to be kitschy or whatever. But as I was doing these, I was because we were invited to a masquerade ball, I was really like, okay, well, how do you do that? And just like, what is the best way to do antenna? Right? The antennae are interesting because you want them to stand up, but like, and how do you do a crown? Like, what's the best way with the fewest stitches and the fewest amount, the smallest amount of fiddling? Because
Mhm.
cumulatively, all the bits are fiddly, but if I can like minimize in each bit, it helps. So how do you do a crown? And the answer is you do bobbles right before you bind off. Um, and
Okay.
these are an I-cord bobble, which is my favorite bobble. The I-cord bobbles are amazing, just straight up. They are so tidy, and you never have to turn your work,
Mm.
right? So that's really great. Anyways, so that's the one I have the closest to being done. And then we have Norhild. Norhild wants to dress up as a Viking for the masquerade ball, and I have both all of this and a beard. The beard is behind me on the table back there. But the beard is done. So all I need is a nose. This is not a gnome that gets arms, although someone did add arms to a more recent to one they just finished, and I was like, ooh, that does look really good. There are a couple of gnomes that have kind of almost like a bowling pin shape body, and I often don't want to put gnome arms on them because I like their profile. Um,
Mm.
so I didn't, and I also
That sounds like the version of why women don't have pants or femmes don't have
yeah
pockets in their
yeah.
pants because
I'll just
you don't want to
yeah.
disturb the profile.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you can't have arms. It's just not pretty enough. Um, yeah, so I got really close to getting this one done, and then I was like, oh, I should probably cast on for the next tutorial. But like, look at this. I have already done the purl turn for the bottom. Like, I just have to stuff and decrease. That's it. Like, and then do a nose. This is a 40-minute project maximum. And I would really like these needles back. I have so many little things on the needles right now. I'm not even going to talk about 3 prototypes that are on the needles. So like I am actually running out of 2mm needles. So Norhild and Queen Dottie, very close to being done. Um, we'll talk about the tragic one last. This is Regal. This is as much as I have got knit of Nilla. Nilla the Regal wants to dress up as Queen Dottie. So she she needs a body, she needs arms, she needs a cape. Um,
Everything.
yep, she needs a nose. Like there's a lot left for Nilla. But this is definitely the most fiddly part, which is why I got a tutorial. One of the things that I think is kind of neat about this is I really wanted to like have it be multi-layered. And so you cast on and you knit this gold bit but then you switch to the red and you work the velvet under layer. Then you pick up and you actually work this gold layer on top with the bobble.
And then
And
do you
then
put
from
it down?
you don't tack it down, you leave it kind of so that it's separate from the velvet. And then you do I-cord up and over, and then there's like this little I-cord topper here. And so yeah, this is, I mean, okay, but you sew these together up top so the I-cord doesn't come down. But yeah, it's kind of like floating free here.
Oh, that section. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because I was really thinking, like, how do you do a crown? Like there's a lot, and I didn't want it just to be like a tiara like thing just stuck. Because then what do you do? Like, do we just do like a tiara on a pointy hat? Like that didn't really feel like a very good costume for a ball, you know?
Yeah.
So that much is done. That's not a lot. Nelson, the pirate,
As a tricorn.
it's just a tricorn. That's it. He needs a lot more though, because I didn't do assembly videos for all of these, but I think I'm gonna do one for Nelson just because with the eye patch, I don't know, I might end up, depending on my workload, just letting that one slide a little bit. We'll see. But the tricorn hat, I really wanted to show people how to do it. And then I realized that this is in fact the darkest black yarn I work with, and it is really difficult to actually see anything. It's difficult for you to see it right now. It is difficult to see on camera. But the good news is when we're doing like the video, all I'm showing you is look, like don't fuss it too much. You can have 3 points and just take the center bit between those points and sew it up on the round part. So I'm like, it's better than nothing. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know. The
Maybe
very first one I did.
a
Oh,
different
what were you
color
saying?
tricorn, just so that you can see it.
I thought about that after I edited it, and I was like, that is unlikely
Too
to
late.
happen. So the first one I actually cast on was Nando. Nando the Magnificent is the magician. And I wanted to talk about his rumpled hat and do that. So I did. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to do the cape because the cape is something I can do while I'm watching a movie or whatever. It's nice and simple. And then that'll be done. And then it's just like body, arm, boom, we're done. Except I walked in, I was making lunch, came back, fried my egg, came back and found Whisper head first into my knitting bag. And this is all that's left of the cape.
Oh, oh, Whisper.
And I had to yank it out of his mouth.
Oh, cats.
So, I mean, I'm just really glad. I think what was in the bag at that time was like a lot of Dottie. And she's, like, that's a lot more knitting.
Yeah, a cape
so,
is small.
But just like, oh. Yeah. So I have no idea now when any of these are going to get done because I'm prototyping a gnome that is released this week. I'm announcing the next mystery gnome this week, and I'm still finalizing a couple details, even though I'm going to be selling, like, we're going to be talking about like buy now kind of stuff. The PDF, the pre-cal PDF won't be for sale. We're going to do the yarn pre-sale first, kind of like with the December gnome, where I'm like, you can order a kit. I'll be back in a minute. And then I do, like, then there'll be more dyers and the pre-sale PDF, like the information you need beforehand. But I need to do that. And that is way more priority than putting 6 legs on her, like, and that's, yeah. So that's just like, that's the thing. I'm not doing a video for the castle. The castle's fairly straightforward if you've done anything by me before. I know the results, the pattern works as written. First of all, the testers had to knit it. And second of all, other people have knit it since the kit released. And it's a lot of knitting. It's almost a full like, is it 70 grams of sock yarn? Like it's a big knit.
Yeah.
And I don't have time for something that doesn't, like most of the pieces in that thing that I would want a tutorial for, I have a tutorial for, just sort of like grafting. You graft the roofs together. I have that, or so yeah. Um, the castle's just on its own, which means I don't have the odds that I will have a castle of my own, what a phrase, are really low, right? Because I sent all of those off to Jimmy Beans, so I will probably never have my own castle.
Except for your home.
Yes. Hilda, yes. So the 6th, next Wednesday, we'll be talking about what's up. And you'll get some cool details. I am on prototype 3 currently, of the ones I actually finished. Like this, like I do lots of knitting and ripping and knitting and ripping.
Yeah.
But if it gets stuffed, then in my head I number the prototypes. So I am on prototype 3, and this is even before I get the official yarn. Because the dyer is doing something so cool that she had
Which
to can I even dye this way? And then confirmed it. She's shipping it, but I'm not waiting. I'm prototype right now.
which we
So
talked about this cool yarn thing on the audio podcast. So if you haven't heard that yet,
true. Yeah.
nice little plug. Haha. So should I talk about the thing that is in my hands right now?
Yes.
So this is the Snuggle Is Real version 2. Ba-ba-ba.
Ooh, I don't suppose you have version 1 around, do you?
Yep. Want me to go get it?
Yeah, because you've got it reversed dark and light this time, right?
I'll be right back. You
All
talk.
right. So hi, this is me again talking. If you were enjoying Katie's art in the back of her office there, it's all by Prairie artists. And it's very awesome. Our family loves art and loves to support artists. Mine in here currently are prints, and they are a map of Manitoba compared to various states. Like bottom left is Alaska, and then that's New Zealand, I think. No, that's New Zealand. So yeah, it's like our province compared to various states. There's Italy, just as a fun comparison. Local artist, but a print, not
Did you talk about
freshly.
art? Did you talk about art while I was away? Is that what happened? Yeah, thanks. Okay, so here's a completed Is Real. So this one's the previous version that I did with linen or parchment, dark teal, and then mahogany. So look, right?
Oh yeah.
And so this side is DK, kind of a mosaic, but it's a slip stitch, more than anything. And this is just pearls, really simple. And then this is fingering weight stockinette. So this is the
And
completed one that I
yeah.
made for me. And then this one is yarn that Sarah and Reiner picked up for me to knit with in Toronto. So this is all from the Knitting Loft in Toronto. So this one has some very different tones to it. Yeah, so this is, toffee. Colorway caramel taffy. And the other one is espresso.
Yeah.
So this is
Amber
just
and
a
brown.
provisional cast on down here. And then I brought along the dark teal because you didn't recognize in store that this is the same as what I made mine out of.
Yeah.
It's showing up much more cobalt here than it is in person. This is kind of a little bit truer. So this is the same color. So this will be the inside of this one. And yes, in real, the texture of this is awesome. It's really easy to do because you're only ever working with one color at a time. So yeah, not terribly far on it. This is not my main project right now, but it is my most portable project. So it's the one that gets brought with me places when I'm flying on my backpack, because I am also I'm a public transit user. I don't have a vehicle. all the time. I'm a member of a car co-op, so if I was going straight from home to work to my friend's place, then I could bring along this thing and just leave it in the car.
Yeah.
It's not convenient. But
Yeah.
yeah, so this is it.
I really like it.
Yeah. I got distracted earlier while you were talking because this tone here is
Yep.
so much darker than the strand right underneath that even though I knew there was no way it was this color, I just be like, have I switched
Confirmed. Confirmed that I
yarn?
have made a mistake.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So yeah, so this is it. This has like this is if this doesn't get done for oh
10
gosh,
months.
9 months, we're fine.
Yeah. Um,
So yeah, back over to you.
I've got another tiny prototypey type thing on the needles. This is a design sneak peek. So for the Leading Men Fiber Arts mini skein design club thing I'm doing, he was like, no more than 2 toys, I think was roughly his request. So that I'm designing 4 patterns, one each quarter. And so the first one was the On Target beret hat, which was super fun and super cute. And then I was like,
Oh, this right here.
oh, yeah, no, right there.
This one,
How cute is that?
super
All
cute.
right. So eating up another project, eating up some of my needles, my tiny needles, um, is the mushroom project that I am working on. And I wanted, like, I've got the toadstool from the first Grimble Woods, which was kind of more like more playful, not really going for realism. Whereas this one I wanted to be like more realistic. And what I'm super proud of, not only is it realistic, it stands. Even though it is a narrow, tall thing, I've got some cool stuff going on inside that makes this possible. And I'm really proud of the problem solving I did there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 different sizes. So you could knit them separately and have 3 different mushrooms, or just do, oh, I only want the small or something like that. But my plan is to knit a couple of them and actually, well, this one here's just like the medium. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sew the side of the cap onto the stem and then the bottom stem down here, because mushrooms often kind of like erupt and have multiple ones coming up. So my plan is to have like a big,
Oh,
like
yeah.
kind of 3 of them like this, but by having them just like the edge of the cap sewn to the edge here, it'll just help it stand as a trio. So I'll have the bottom secured together and just a little bit of the cap secured to the stem, and then it'll work sort of as a, hopefully to balance each other. Like what I'd love to do, a lot of mushrooms, when you see them, they are
Out of the same
like
base.
big, medium, small, and they like do this like really cool like step down, but I can just see how that's just not going to stand in knitting.
Yeah.
So I'm going to center the big one and do like medium and small. And so, yeah, that's what I got partway through and then realized what all had to happen on other things, because I need to get this in testing in March. So it's out in April. So I have a little bit of time, but like not endless time, because I do need to get this written and edited
And
and then
tested.
tested. So, I gotta get on this, but it's really, really charming. And again, fun problem solving, which, yeah, it's really neat. Like, it's funny. So with the Grimble Woods 2 stuff, when I'm designing a gnome, I'm problem solving. I'm like, okay, so I gotta get this shape. I gotta go from here to there. Like, I gotta get this effect. And so I'm problem solving and everything feels really logical because I'm thinking it through and I'm like, this might be a possible solution. And everything feels logical. And then when I go back and I reknit my patterns, it's interesting because it's a chance to almost experience it like it's someone else's pattern or like it's
Mhm.
another knitter knitting my stuff. And I'm like, why did I do that? why am I doing this? I'm confused. This could be written differently. So like it is good for me to go back with a lot of like, like more than a year between
Oh,
patterns and be
yeah.
like, oh, that's what it's like to experience this without a clue why we're doing what we're doing or where we're going. But so the mushrooms, it's interesting to be doing this kind of simultaneously, like because I'm prototyping both the mushrooms and the next mystery gnome while I'm also re-knitting my old patterns. And so it's like I
It's
think
a
I mean
lot.
it really pays off, right?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
cool. How many more things do you have? We didn't do a countdown before we started. I only
I
have two
have
things left.
I have three because I forgot to do my finished object at the start.
Oh, why don't you do that now?
Technically it's not finished, and even more technically, I'm calling it finished. I have my yellow pair of socks. I just need to Kitchener the toe on the other pair. That's it. Like,
Those look so great.
I am so pleased with this because I really was not sure about yellow socks.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, I really wanted to do, like the amber that you're like the kind of color that's in your cowl. Like there, when I was shopping for this, so it's part of the Roy G. Biv project where when I travel to a knitting event professionally, I usually still want to go shopping, but the trick is to keep myself from over shopping because if I'm going to be traveling a fair amount, then I would be buying a fair amount of yarn repeatedly, and that adds up. So I give myself the idea was to give myself a project with a clear task, and so the idea is to go through the rainbow, Roy G. Biv, and then just be looking for one color at a time. And so yellow, I was like, oh, but I don't want to wear pale socks. I don't clean my floor enough. I have two cats. It's it's just we're in and out all the time. So I was like, I don't know. Like people who do white toes and heels on their Christmas like Advent socks, I'm like,
great.
do you wear these? Or do you just vacuum all the time? Like and wash. So anyways, yellow I was worried about. And there were so many dark, beautiful golden amber yellows. I was like, well, maybe that's where I go. And then I saw this zebra yarn from Mitchell's Creations, and I was like, oh, that already looks like my cat is knit into it. There's my black cat right there. Um, and I wasn't sure based on the skein if this was going to be like
Cooling, flashing.
or just like I have some where it's more like it's a stripe in the marled and
Yeah.
then sort of a solid,
Oh, yeah, chunked as its
you
own
know?
it's discrete
Yeah.
stripe. Yeah.
So the fact that it's like these kind of micro striped, kind of scattered all over, and I mean, right where my stitch count changes for the gusset, right? It gets a little different. But what my favorite part is like from the top of the foot, sort of like the bit I'll see,
Yeah.
it's not so much. Like it's
Yeah.
here where the difference is really showing because it's like this has got the dark all the way through, and then all of a sudden it's just all pale here. Whereas it's much more like dark, 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 dark. Hey, we keep going dark. So that's great. This is also it's just got these beautiful dark orangey bits kind of scattered throughout that adds to the you can't see my cats vibe of these. I've got a bit of yarn left over. And so when we were doing these, I was like, well, am I allowed to wear these when I'm done? And obviously, and you and many people have pointed out, I'm allowed to do whatever I want. And I was like, yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
what's my brain saying? And my brain is like, I so want the picture at the end where all the socks are in one circle that I can't wear them
Same
till I'm
condition.
done.
This could take years.
I know.
Oh, you silly person, you.
Oh, so the other thing I decided to do is actually keep my leftovers because I really, really want to knit a rainbow worth of gnomes.
Oh, I was gonna say striped socks.
Oh, yeah, I probably will have enough to do both because I don't think I'll do a very big gnome. Because I'll
Yeah.
have, depending on, usually I have 25 to 30 grams left of after a sock for myself. So I could do, like, do I want to do just the hats in the color and then do them all gray bodies, or do I want to do top and bottom and just like, I think I do want to do top and bottom. So anyways, I'm collecting the yarn for later as well. And so that is my finished object technically still on the needles, but I'm technically calling it.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I will, unlike Queen Dottie and poor Norhild, um, I will be finishing those today. I just haven't had the time yet.
All right. I have what looks like a vest.
Oh, it does look like a vest.
Mhm. And in fact, I will even put it on. So this is oh, me running over my project bag. This is Tunnel Vision by Knititude in Knit Picks Twill. It is, yeah. Ooh, it's the first time I put it on since I finished the cowl. Oh, it's nice.
Yes.
And it's much bigger than it, like it curls up quite nicely right now. Um, so yeah, so this is knit, it's reverse stockinette, but it's knit stockinette side so that it's not all purling.
So
Um,
it's worked inside out.
yes,
So you
yeah,
get to knit all the time.
yeah. And yeah. So I just clearly need to pick up and do the sleeves and then I will, and then obviously deal with all the ends. But it's done all in one until a 3 needle bind off here. Which is great because I think twill is going to be as a sweater yarn. I feel like it's going to be fairly saggy.
Mm.
But yeah,
It's
this,
also knit fairly loosely, it looks like.
yes, it did. We talked about it on the audio podcast about how gauge changes when you're doing magic loop to knot, and this is tighter than the sweater. Um, so I need to figure out what I'm going to do for the sleeves. I need to look at the measurements of the sleeves because I want to make sure that I can fit all of this in here. Um, so I might go up a needle size just to make sure that it's the same gauge as this.
Or
Um,
DPNs. That's what
yeah,
I'm debating for myself with the whole moving forward with the fact that I'm often magic looping sleeves and I don't like it. And I don't like that my gauge changes. So should I really start DPNing my life there?
I don't know. I don't know. Also, these two colors look really good together.
They really do.
But yeah, so this now is just going to kind of sit for a bit because of the other project that I've got on the go. But yeah, so this is kind of great, actually. I think it's gonna be really comfy once it's
I really
done.
like it. It would almost be something that you could do a second time and then just pick up and finish like a little bit of
Just do a little
ribbing
shoulder.
and make yourself a sleeveless version if you
Yeah,
like.
yeah. It is also written to have much more negative ease, no, positive ease than I have. And I've knit it to be a little bit more, a little bit less just big and wide.
Yeah.
So we might do that too, because it's worsted, so it just flies.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. That's great. So I have two more projects. I will do the little one, and then we will both finish with our Imagine Knitting projects. So I did not plan to actually cast this on. I like to have two pairs of socks on the needles, and I've been thinking I'd like to have two pairs of socks and two sweaters on the needles, but then all this prototyping and tutorials and all this is like,
Yeah.
not in the near future, girl. And then I knew I was getting close on these, and I was like, when we talked on the audio podcast, I honestly didn't think these were going to get finished like in the next 2 weeks.
Mm.
But then I had a couple evenings where I've been working hard enough that it got to be like 9 o'clock at night. And I was like, I can't think. And I just need something restorative for the last hour before I go to bed. And so I was knitting on these. And then Dune came out, which means we are going to be going to the movies.
When does it come out?
It is out.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I need something to knit in the dark. So I
Yay.
cast on this because I was thinking, well, if I don't cast on socks, I'll be forced to work on my sweater in my brainless hours.
Yes.
But I still have sleeve decreases to do. So I do need something truly in the dark. And
So
so,
yeah, show me the yarn.
okay, so it is a
Oh,
German
nice.
yarn that I picked up in Toronto at Unit. Is that the one? The one in Kensington Market. And what I like about this is number one, so since deciding that I needed to knit Moody socks, I have proceeded to knit only socks as gifts for other people that are moody, and then really colorful ones for myself, like my Christmas socks, my solstice socks, my yellow socks.
Yeah,
So I was like, it is time. And these are going to do kind of a gray stripe, which
nice.
is just perfect.
Yeah,
I'm even thinking these have got like 400 and how many meters is it? It's 420 meters. That is a lot of yarn. That's like 465 yards. So I think that if I pick up like a 50-gram ball of black or gray, I could get a second pair out of this and have two Moody stripy socks for myself that will last for years because these workhorse yarns really are
yeah.
truly incredible for their durability. So yeah, I'm just want to get to the point where I'm past the ribbing because Dune is not a short movie. And I know myself, I can knit a leg in a long movie. So got a little bit more to go, and then I'm holding back.
All right.
So
Imagining
yeah,
projects.
the brand is Comfort Sockenwolle, which I've never heard of. Made in Italy for H&W. hvvertrieb.de. For those of you who have the wherewithal to care about that. Yes, Jennifer, Dune has really gotten some good reviews. And I found the first one, we paid for like the slightly better theater seats with the better sound, and we went to it twice in theater. Like I found it almost a spiritual experience with like because they lingered on shots. There was like an open space, and then with that music soundtrack, so powerful. I was like,
Yeah.
so I really, really am looking forward to the second one. And we don't talk about board games, but the Dune board game that there are a couple Dune ones, but the one that actually has like the movie art in it and not photos, they made actual art. The Dune game is so good. And the second Dune game is supposed to be even better. So I have both movie and game things that need to be played for the desert. Nadia's going tonight. Have you got your sock project?
It's supposed to be, I don't know where you are, I'm assuming it's the same. We're supposed to be like on storm watch out
Yeah.
here, for big blizzardy nastinesses. We have friends maybe coming over to my place. Well, the plan is to have friends over tonight for board games.
Yeah, I think it should
Um,
work. I don't think it's going to be terrible like tonight. I think it's like cumulatively as it layers
yeah,
up.
yeah, but
I don't think it's,
maybe we'll get tickets for next weekend.
yeah. My
Um,
plan is to wait as well. Because uh first of all, we have to rewatch number one. And second of all, we don't like it when there's other people in the movie theater with us. And in Brandon, if we wait a week, it's usually us and five other people. And that is my way to get to a movie.
yeah. Okay, so I've got my Imagining Cal project here. So I'm actually worried that I might not be able to get it done on time, even though today is March 2nd. But here is what I have completed so far. So this is the fronts. They are meant to be lopsided, or different lengths,
Okay.
which I didn't realize, but it is like in the pattern. Yes, they are meant to be different lengths. But like, how much is somebody really going to notice this, especially once it's garter, it's going to wobble, it's going to
Yeah.
stretch. But I also
And
like
it's
the
not
fact
going
that
to be seamed on the sides. So like
yeah,
there's going to be like little
yeah.
janky bits anyways. It's going to
I like
wear
the fact that
differently.
it means that even though the colors don't technically don't line up, they do in here. Like that's actually really smart. So this is knit out of DK. So we've got the double stranded knitting in both of these spots. Oh no. I stretched it too far and it's off the needles now. So give me just half a sec to
So this
catch
is
it.
the Wrap and Run by Casapinka.
Thank you.
Katie is knitting it with a Canadian dyer from Alberta named Sweet something, I believe.
Oh, spinning sheep. Smiling
Spinning
sheep?
sheep,
Smiling sheep.
smiling sheep. And she's got two grays and then this beautiful, very on brand for Katie gold.
I'm in my gold phase. This is a custom color, based on another one of theirs that is very similar to this, but has some green in it. And I went, ooh, not for me. So I've also realized that there is a way to do, thank you, Jennifer. I've realized that there's a way for me to do this as a 3 needle bind off, which is great because I sat there and tried to figure out how to read the pattern to go from those two pieces to knitting down the back. It didn't make sense. I picked up all of that. That's over 200 stitches all the way across the back. Once I tinked back a couple of times because I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so then I realized that I bought the pattern on Craft Love because I wanted to do that. And it didn't say anything about the fact that there was two versions of the pattern in one PDF. And the versions of the pattern didn't have anything on a title page to tell me the difference between the two of them. And at a quick skim through both, it didn't look different. But then I went on to Rav to look for errata and realized that the second version was one where you knit as 3 pieces and then do a 3 needle bind off to put it all together. So here's the bottom.
Oh, yay, yay, seeing more gold.
Yeah, and that's just the gold on its own, which I love. And also
Yeah.
something really different. So here we've got one big light gray patch with 2 different smaller patches of the gold. So I'm really, because like I haven't, once I decide that I'm gonna knit a pattern, I just decide I don't like analyze the pictures a whole lot. So I don't actually know fully what the back looks like. I'm kind of interested to see how this is gonna go. So yeah, so this is where I'm at. So I've still got a long ways to go. These rows take a long time, even on DK, because I'm only working it on a 4 millimeter needle, US
It's
6.
not far off a blanket width.
It this is still smushed up. So yeah, this is a wearable blanket.
Yeah.
Yes, precious metals. It's true. But yeah, so this is just it's what I try to work on the most when I'm working. Um, when I'm knitting. So it's going. I'm worried that in the next month I'm not going to be able to get this done, but I'm enjoying it. The double knitting is really tight, and my hands do ache after working on these sections. Kind of worry about arthritis or something. I don't know what it could be. Um,
No, I think it's just the
Tight
muscles,
thing.
right?
Yeah,
It's just your muscles. Um,
yeah. But so anyway, uh, I'm really enjoying working on this still. And so all my other projects are mostly going to be ignored.
Kim's husband says we should not knit it in the movies. Enough is enough. Sounds to me like he wants to sit in a different row than you.
That's what I hear too. Or maybe separate theaters. Even
Yeah.
maybe you have different movie going experiences.
Yeah. All right. I don't know what's all attached to me here. Hang on.
Sweater. Why are you
So,
worried to finish it? Oh, because of all the other stuff you've got going on, not because of the sweater itself.
yeah. I mean, I
Hmm.
do have two sleeves.
Yeah, you
So,
do.
right. So
Like,
this is the back. It is the May cardigan with all the fun stuff taken out. I've taken out the cables that are on the front of the cardigan and like beside the band, and I've taken off the ones that run down the arms. So I have got just a wee bit of a sleeve and zero of a sleeve. And it's fingering weight, not knit in a loose gauge. So depending on what happens, I could I could definitely do this. I mean, if I was living my pre-design life, I would say I'd be done in 2 weeks.
yeah,
I mean, each sleeve is like a sock, right?
yeah, doable.
I mean, in so, but Yeah,
Hold it up again, Sarah. That sleeve, it looks like there's like a line of tighter
there
knitting.
is because I blocked it. So I
Okay.
blocked this to check that
Okay.
my gauge was okay. And then I needed to rip back because I discovered that the skeins were different. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there's like a very weird texture thing happening where I'm knitting
Okay.
yarn that was blocked. And yes, I know it's very scary to look at.
Yeah, I was worried that it was going to be more frogging for you, but it
Yeah.
doesn't. So that's yay.
Yeah, no, it looks pretty terrible. I could steam it and just reassure myself, but I feel like
You're fine.
just gonna go with it.
Yeah, you're
But
fine.
yeah, that's not a lot of sleeve, right? So, and then I still have button
The other
bands
sleeve and the button band.
and the collar because you pick up and knit and do a little bit of collar ribbing.
Oh yeah. Has it got a
But
little bit
this
of a
is
shawl collar? Just a smidge?
no, it's just a little like a little crew neck.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, definitely cross my fingers. But I mean, if I'm gonna wait a week to see Dune and I'm done this when I'm done the ribbing, that means I have to start this, which
Yep,
actually is good for me. So
yep.
let's get on this, Sarah.
There you go. Maybe we should just be done so you can go do some knitting right now.
Yeah, Reiner's watching soccer. I'm missing soccer right now. Uh,
Oh, Adrian's out with a photo shoot with a friend, so I've got time to sit and knit before I need to get tidy before friends come over.
Sounds perfect to me. All right, now that we've done this, I can throw away my tragic cape.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's so crunchy. It's like all this, it's dried cat spit.
Yoo-hoo. No, thank you.
What he licks it. He just licks it and his tongue is so corrosive that if I'm like knitting and I've got the project bag, let's say I'm doing a sock and I've got the project bag on the floor, that yarn will be broken through before I even know he's there. Like it's like 3 licks and it's like 2 pieces. And I don't even understand. He usually coughs it up, but not always.
Ew,
I know.
ew, ew.
It's just, it's not for cats.
No.
This is why I have glass shelves downstairs, glass cabinets with all my gnomes behind bars, basically. Their own little terrarium of protection.
Yeah.
Whisper is a killer.
Imriel, yes, Adrian does really love me. She has actually done some cleaning while I was out with friends last night of my place because she has her own place. I was just looking at my phone to double check because the next time we do one of these lives, we will have possession of the new house. We will not have moved in yet, but we'll have
Yeah.
possession of the new house. But yes, she definitely has helped, and they are friends of hers that are coming to my place. I have met them once.
Oh, game are you gonna
So
play?
I don't know what type of game players they are actually. So I don't know. I mean, I've got lots of options, including Wormspan. Um, so yeah, we'll see. We'll also see. It might be like one of those we're really just continuing to get to know each other.
Yeah.
Um, Hangouts where we're just gonna play easy games as opposed to crunchy games. But
Yeah. I
we
recommend number 9 for that one, because
easy to talk to.
it's like a
Talk to.
puzzle, right? More than I think. Anyways, thank you for joining us, everyone. We really appreciate you spending your time and asking us questions and just giving us love and attention. Um, it's great to be here with you, and we hope you have a great time knitting this weekend.
Yes. And drinking tea.
Show notes will be scarce, but they will be added eventually this weekend, at some point.
What she